So I finally got to watch the Given movie. And it took some time because honestly, I have a big grievance right now with the Crunchyroll app. It was not working. It kept glitching, and then occasionally the picture would end up being very fuzzy and unclear. I don't feel like it's my fault. I feel like it's Crunchyroll's fault because I'm not having issues with other places watching shows. I'm just saying Hulu works just fine. You know, Funimation, just fine. Crunchyroll, you're messing up. Actually, Funimation messes up a lot too in a similar vein, but you know. All said and done, there was some good things about the movie, but there were some bad things in my opinion. So I'm going to talk about that instead of like the overall plot, because we all know. If you've watched it, you've watched it. So let's just talk about, you know, what I liked and didn't like and overall whatever. I mean, other than, of course, Crunchyroll being a little bitch to me right now. Would like to know what's up with, you know, the picture quality going in and out. Would love to know. I did love how we got to see more Murata. I always found Murata in the manga to be a very tragic character who just really was torn about what he wanted more in life. Did he want love? Did he want to focus on his music? He clearly didn't want to be alone. And it's just so sad. Like, I just really want him to find someone that can appreciate him, support his music, and can have him, you know, have a stable freaking relationship. But at the same time, we got to see so much less of Mafu Sato, who honestly had a lot of stuff going on during this arc in the manga that we don't even get to see in this particular movie. He has a lot of like feelings he's going through concerning his ex and him moving on in a relationship with his new boyfriend and fellow bandmate. And there was some fighting going on, and there was just a lot of inner turmoil as well. And we didn't get to see any of that. I mean, at the same time, when they're having that firework festival thing, and, you know, Akiko and the other guy is freaking having their Bondi moment, and Akiko's finally, like, talking more about his inner struggles with, you know, his ex-boyfriend / roommate. There's a freaking date going on between Sato and his boyfriend, and it was a very sweet date, and they could have at least showed a little bit of a snippet of that instead of, I don't know, a picture in the end credits. Bull crap. I get that they want to focus on the side couple and that drama with the love triangle and the ex romance and all that, but it just seems like such a shame that, you know, the main couple from the show was getting so pushed aside that you're missing out on some crucial development that's going on there, personally. I mean, sure, throughout the movie we get little snippets of the main pair, but not much. You don't really know what's going on unless you've read the manga. And I don't know, I think that's a crying shame. I don't think we should have had a movie. I think we should have just had season 2. And then everything could have been more fleshed out, in my opinion. I think that would have been a lot better. I would have really liked to have seen more on Yuki's ex-bandmates and their relationship development. I mean, I know that relationship is really only sprinkled throughout the manga, but we could have seen more of them. And, you know, their relationship with Sato being repaired more. I just think it's a loss. On the pro side, though, I like how we got to see Akihiko and Murata's relationship at the start and how everything seemed so sweet and they were willing to make it work, but there were still clearly some issues and they didn't want to address it. You know, they were very doting, but eventually they became suffocated by each other for numerous reasons, and it just was too much. And so Murata had to do the right thing and he had to break up with him because, again, he felt like he couldn't perform well and they just weren't getting along, but he couldn't let go. And I just like seeing that, how they had issues just like fully accepting the breakup. And so they just kept living with each other and just being toxic and kind of like lying to themselves about how, they are not compatible. They're toxic. I mean, nobody wants to admit that a relationship is failing. And when they don't see themselves having anybody else, and they didn't, they thought they only had each other. They didn't want to let go. They didn't want to be alone. They didn't want to, have no one else to rely on. And it was just very tough to watch because I've had similar relationships. So I was fully empathizing with them, if you know what I mean. And Akihiko wasn't taking care of himself either. He was sleeping around men, women. It didn't matter because he was desperate to fill that void. But at the same time, I felt like he was in the wrong because, yeah, he was fooling around, but they weren't technically together. But then when Murata tries to find someone else and he tries to move on, he gets possessive and he gets mad. And then he gets into just a horrible fight. And the fight, I feel like for them was the final moment where they're like, crap, we got to make some changes. We got to be done. And it's hard. And it was just really rough watching that fight. And after everything is said and done, he takes advantage of Haru's feelings for him. And, in the end, it was consensual, but at the same time, it was very manipulative and it was wrong. And he knew what he did was wrong. And it's a tough situation. I don't condone it. But at the same time, it was like, don't do that. And the fact that Haru was more upset, not by the act itself, but by the fact that he seemed to be also dismissing his feelings and rejecting him as well. You can't sleep with someone and then reject them. And I don't think he meant to reject him. Everything was worded so poorly. There was bad communication, bad choices, and Haru didn't deserve that. He just wanted to love him and support him, and he knew that for a long time his feelings was very much one-sided, and it's like, oh, poor Haru. And again, poor Murata. He's playing with both their hearts in a way, just because he doesn't want to be alone and he doesn't know what he wants. Because I feel like a part of him wants Murata still, but another part of him is starting to really want Haru. And it's like, you can't have, your cake and somebody else's cake and also eat the freaking pudding next door. I did like that we got to see a snippet too of Murata and Mafuyu, basically slowly becoming tentative friends. Both of them have a lot in common. They both have issues expressing themselves, and they're both very musically gifted and have a hard time connecting with people. And they both have a very tragic past relationship. So it's very nice to see that development. I feel like that could have been explored more. I don't know. I'm still rereading the manga, but I feel like there was more. I don't know. I really loved Mafuyu's song. It was very beautiful. It was definitely a love song, but it was more like a past love / I have to move on. We will both be okay. We will both find new people to hold on to. There was definitely focus of it being about Akihiko and Murata's past relationship and how, they needed to let go and move on and find new love. But at the same time, you could definitely tell, especially if you read the manga, that it was also about him moving on officially from Yuki and their past relationship and moving on with, his new boyfriend and their relationship, because it's a brand new day. It's a brand new dawn. Everybody's going to be okay. The song affects everybody in the crowd, including Murata, who was there, and he realizes, Akiko's moved on, and he kind of makes a connection between him and Haru, and he knows, it's officially 100% over. He's finally going to be free, and he's a bit scared about it. We also see Yuki's former bandmates, and one of them is crying. And at this point, you wouldn't know why. And I'm not going to say why he in particular is crying, because I feel like you should read the manga and find out why he's crying and like what his whole deal is. I'm not going to say much, but it was, knowing what I know, my heart went out for him like a lot. After the set, they didn't win, by the way, but it is what it is. Neither of them expected to win. Akiko finally gets the courage. He's like, I have to end it. And he does. Murata didn't want to listen at first because he knew what was coming, but, they both finally accepted that it was over, and acceptance was an important part that they just never got to. It's basically they were going through the stages of grief with the relationship, and it took a long time, but they finally went from anger to acceptance. And Murata clearly has to work through a lot of the, issues and accepting of being alone. But in his mind, he saw Mafuyu, and it was like he was telling him, you're going to be all right. It's all right. And I just really hope coming forward that he's able to, like I said, find someone that will accept him. I hope he'll find peace and be able to make beautiful, beautiful music. In a flash forward, we do see that Murata is still making music. He's covered on the screen in the square, and he clearly is being able to focus more. So I like to think he's doing okay. I don't remember how he's doing for sure in the manga, because I only got to a certain point, and I'm rereading it. I've been buying the manga volumes, but he seems like he's getting in a better place. And not only is he getting in a better place, but so is Akihiko. He kindled his relationship with his parents where it was not good. He's focusing again on the violin and music in general. And he wins 4th place in a violin contest, which is good for him. And he's just trying to become a better person so he can be somebody that Haru can be proud of calling a boyfriend. And he actually ends up confessing his love and his desire for them to be in a relationship at the end. And the movie ends with them basically accepting each other and both in a better place and starting a relationship. And I think it's good that both of them waited until they were healthy enough and more accepting of themselves and a lot of self-love and care before they actually, decided to pursue a relationship or even confess. Because Akihiko was clearly not in a place where he should have been in a relationship right after his official breakup with Murata. And I think that's good. I think it was a very healthy official start to a relationship. It was a sweet ending to the movie. But again, I just feel like it was a little bit lacking and what could have been. We should have just had season 2. As of right now, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think there's an official release date for season 2 or even a confirmation there will be a season 2. If there is, it's definitely not going to be this year. I wouldn't be surprised if it's another year or two, but I don't know if it's been confirmed. I just feel like they should have focused on, again, a season 2 than a movie. But, I guess it's easier this way, and it's something, I guess. But, I guess at least we have the mangas. I do wish that we would get a physical copy of Given, because, I would like to own it. But what can you do? Maybe someone somewhere will release a physical copy, because that would be great. But anyways, what did you guys think of the movie? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Do you have the same feelings as me, or do you disagree? Let me know down below.